What's up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my own review of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, let's get into it. So we know what happened at the end of last week's episode. K.Michelle was at the music awards, and she realized that one of her recent surgeries had an open wound, and all of her fluid came out. So she is at the hospital removing the infected tissue. It was a 2-hour surgery, and she discussed what actually happened. Her surgery wasn't about the BBL, it was about the silicone injections, the illegal silicone injections. And knowing the amount of injections she has in her body, she'll never be completely healed of it. It will always be in her, and she'll never be, you know, removed from it. And she's been receiving messages and kind words from the rest of the ladies. And then she was just sitting in the hospital looking at the cameras like she always does and ready to go home. And she has her glam team make her look like she looks fabulous, not her having looking all struggled and everything. She leaves with these silk pajama type of pantsuit set with her hair all done. I was like, you made sure you left scene looking fabulous. You didn't want to leave looking all disheveled, fine, cool. I really am saddened about what's been going on with K.Michelle, because she's been trying to get all of this out of her body for years. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's like the industry of what was centering around you about what was sexy, what was in, and it's like you didn't need it. But we're gonna move on from there. We got Drew. Drew pops up on Angela. Excuse me. We see her oldest daughter, Amari, and what has been happening between Amari and Angela has been going better, because last season Angela found out that Amari got married and she never told her. But she's there for the time being before she goes back to college. And she is loving that they're able to reconnect, reset. And it is very nice for her that her daughter is coming around to be here for her, because she's 25. You know, you would think you grown, you out the door, you don't want to be around your mom. And to have her still want to be around her and create that connection is beautiful. Drew can reflect on that, because she was gone out of the house at 25. And we know that Drew is doing a lot of acting and singing. And yes, she is still moving on up, you know. And she's going off about what her day looks like. I catch the plane. I work all day on set. I'm trying to balance being a mom, being a working mom as well. And life is not all it's cracked up to be. You know, there was a flashback scene for about 3 days ago where she wants to console her daughter, because her daughter was just upset about something and she didn't know what she was upset about. She asked her son, what is she upset about? He couldn't answer. He looked irritated. And it's like, I am really trying to balance being a mother, being a career woman, and of course acting pays the bills, but it's hard for me to manage it if I can't be there for my kids because she has to work. So she feels like I am feeling the mom guilt. And when I tell you mom guilt is so real, like, you're doing what you're supposed to do, right? You are taking care of your children. You're going through a divorce. Everything falls on you. And you have to be present for every single opportunity you need to take in order to make sure you and your kids are good. Yes, you're missing out on being there for your kids, but it's for a reason. You're doing it for the long run, right? So don't feel bad about how you're missing moments with your children if you have to do what you need to do to make sure that they're good. I completely understand that, because her kids are getting older. So then Angela talks about how she had a house that she just recently purchased. It's up on contract. And Drew talks about, my girl is a go-getter. She's a serial entrepreneur. Yes, we know that Angela lost all those homes last year, but she is still pursuing real estate. Angela ends up revealing she lost about $2 million in real estate of the houses that she bought, renovated, and couldn't put back on the market. And it was of her own money. That was a big, big loss. But that did not stop her from wanting to continue on to invest in real estate. So the house that she bought, she's going to see if she can renovate it, put it back on the market, and gain a win. I don't blame Angela. I'm happy she is starting off small, you know, because that is a big setback. Okay, that is a lot of money she lost out on, as well as losing her mom in that same time. So then we talk about Black. You know, Black was in the phone. Drew wants to clear up any assumptions that that is not her man, okay? It's somebody she is enjoying company with. It is not someone she can really foresee a relationship with. I mean, explain away all you want to, Drew. I'm not mad about you wanting to enjoy a company of another man while going through your divorce. It is what it is, okay? So then we have Porsha. She is having a day of pedicure with Cynthia and Phaedra. And K.Michelle pops up. I was so lost, like, why is she here? Was this a part of her scene? This is a part of an event she had to show up? Like, you literally left the hospital the same day and you went to get a pedicure? Caston, her husband, was like, you know you need to be at home, right? She said, no, I don't need to be at home. You sure? You just went through surgery of getting illegal substances out of your body. I think you need to rest. I don't think you need to show up in a scene, K.Michelle. You will be fine if you are not in this moment right now. We saw you earlier. We don't have to see you in every scene. I get you trying to gain as much attention as you need to make sure you are showing up to do your job, but put your health first. So when she walked in, she wanted some help from the receptionist to guide her through the back. Girl, why didn't you? Okay. So they were like, oh my God, are you okay? So she was discussing about what happened to her. She was at the Academy of Country Music Awards. She was sitting on the couch. And when she got up, the couch was completely wet. So was her dress. Now, as she's talking, Porsha was just hearing but not listening. And then she just said, a miscarriage? K.Michelle looked at her. She was like, I will hope not. But in her confessional, she don't know if Porsha was being serious, throwing shade, or just being dumb. I don't know. I feel like dumb could be the right answer. She said there's never been a malfunction with my hot pocket. I don't know why you even say that. Why would you think you would question me about that when you know what was going on with my ass, like I know what was going on with your titties? So, they're just going off about what fell out of her ass. Like, it wasn't blood. It was like liquid, like a water broke. It was from an open wound from one of her surgeries. And her surgeries weren't even a year old. They were around 8 months old. Then Porsha was comparing it to what happened to her boob. She had a suture rupture and it leaked. I was like, ooh, I bet that was uncomfortable. And the way that they were just going back and forth with talking about what happened, K.Michelle was literally looking at her like, are you for real right now? How do you not know what was going on with me when we've had a conversation about what's happening to me? Just like how I know what was happening to your breast. It gave off the impression Porsha wasn't really paying attention when she was on the phone with you. She was going in and out, not really hearing you. And just heard surgery and really did not expound upon or ask you what kind of surgery is it if you were discussing what was going on with your body. And oh my God, Porsha. Anyway, we move on from there. So, we just hope for K.Michelle to have a better recovery as they're getting their nails done. We talk about Kelly's grand opening. How was it? She wished she could have came. Phaedra and Cynthia came. They were very proud of her. And Porsha did not come because she reminds K.Michelle about their conversation about how she accused Kelly of getting involved with a married man. And, it was uncomfortable. I made it uncomfortable, but we moved on. Angela brought it back up and also told her that the way that Kelly expressed the situation, she called Porsha Horsha. And, with all this carrying on, she felt like it was whack of her. So she sent a card, and Cynthia was like, did you feel you had to say something? Did you feel like there was some truth to it? And is that why K.Michelle felt the way? Like, do you feel like you understand what was going on? Do you believe that there should be some truth to that? K.Michelle said, I don't perceive to know what goes on with a woman's hot pocket. Like, I am not going to act like I know and I don't know. Then Cynthia want to act confused about what is a hot pocket. Girl, you know what a hot pocket is. There have been multiple names we have referred to a woman's lower regions. It's called a cookie. It's called a treasure trove. We call it a patty cake. It's a whole lot of words we call it. Trim, nookie. Like, don't play dumb, Cynthia. Moving on. We got Shamia. So Shamia is walking her daughter to first grade. Her family is doing amazing. Shala was doing amazing. And Gerald is opening up a new business every month, right? So she is slowly bringing up this conversation about her going down to Grenada and to going all in with this rum company and asking him how does he feel about it. He had nothing to say. It was crickets. But then he said he's fine with it. He just, know that if you want more support, we're going to work towards it. But he ain't really caring about Shamia's interest in having her own rum company. And she also said that he hasn't really shown support for any of her own business ventures. So he almost shut the rum company down because it flashes back to when they were at the house. He's on a Zoom call with the people of the rum company. He is asking about price per bottle, what is the profit value, how many employees you have, all of the right questions. If a potential investor is willing to go in with your company and it's going to require a lot more money to invest, and we can't really have that right now. So this might not be a good idea for us to go with. So once that conversation ended, she had to go to Grenada to convince the people to say yes to doing it with her. But why would you need to convince them? It was Gerald who wasn't convinced to work with them. But she pretty much is overlooking how her husband feels, and she wants to pursue it on her own. And she just trying to make sure that this kind of business is going to be just as successful as the HVAC business. Well, there are some liquor companies that are doing successfully well, but to compare it to an HVAC business, I don't know. And she wants to say, I want to retire you. Okay. Girl, he's retiring. You've never having to work. Like, you have little odds jobs here and there, hosting, singing, like all that type of stuff. And if you've expressed that your husband really hasn't shown any interest in having you be passionate about something, it's probably because he doesn't want you to look at it as, oh, it's something you're going to try and not really work on it. Because where is the passion for your music? Do you want to still pursue music? Is that not your dream anymore? So that's his reasoning. He probably don't want to always show up and support you in what you want to do at the moment if you're not going to allow it to grow into something you can be proud of. Like, literally go through the process of putting this off the ground. That's probably why. And it's like she's trying to like overcompensate and fill a void of being a housewife on this show and trying to have a business attached to her name. Like, she don't want to be just a housewife. No, she wants to be a housewife with a brand, a housewife with a business. Okay, Shamia. So we also move on. We got Pinky. Pinky is headed to her attorney's office to file for bankruptcy. While she proclaims that she is the most prominent entrepreneurs in the country, also being African American, it is never easy to say, I made this entire brand, I've made a lot of money, but I am walking into this office to file for bankruptcy. And how she got into this position, it's because she is a personal guarantor for her company, and her former CFO took money out of the company. Oh, Lord. Now, when you hear bankruptcy, lots of people believe you don't have any money, right? No, I have always assumed that bankruptcy pretty much protects your money from being taken out, as far as people sending you bills that you have to pay for. And if you're not ready to pay for it, you file for bankruptcy. And knowing that she bought her company and and she went through a lot to buy her company back, believing that she's gonna start fresh, no. She has been dealing with what came with buying her company back. Multiple lawsuits. There was a lawsuit against her about her restaurant playing the Gervonta Davis fight, and I guess she didn't have proper permission for playing it. Then there was a $2 million lawsuit against her over a liquor license. I can't remember, it was because her investors had a liquor license and they wanted her to use theirs and she had her own. I have no idea. That is just too many lawsuits, and they feel like petty lawsuits. Like, ugh. So now she is asked about her husband. Is he in on this? Is he aware of you filing for bankruptcy? She says, no, I don't want him to be a part of this. I don't want him to interfere with what I have going on. No, she don't want him to interfere with what she has going on. But you're dealing with multiple hits. And David advised her about, yes, you're taking all of this on, but it's a part of your testimony and you're going to come out on top. He has advised dozens of restaurants, and you're going to be fine with what I'm going to help you how to keep it. And she was crying because this is a very hard walk, but you got to do it. There are times where she just want to get out of bed. I understand that. She's had her doubts from people that they didn't believe she could have made $100 million brand. And the fact that she's sitting in a whole lot of debt because she bought her company and having to start over her company, the best way to figure it out is to file for bankruptcy. I feel really bad for Pinky. I mean, I applaud her for being honest about what she got going on, but then again, Pinky, where was your antennas or what was going on in your company? You know what I'm saying? Like, who did you trust? Like, who did you not really vet to believe that they are there to support you in your brand? Like, you have been burned countless times. I'm wondering, what were you not paying attention to? This is a whole lot was thrown at you. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get into her later. We got Cynthia, K.Michelle, and Pinky. They're having lunch. Cynthia has known Pinky for a while, and K.Michelle and Pinky are sorority sisters. They're both Deltas. And it was also funny how while they are deltas, they wore pink and green in their scene, giving AKA vibes. So then we're catching up about Cynthia. Cynthia has two sides to her. She's very nice and sweet, but she's also 50 Cent. And Cynthia recalls a time of her just sitting at Lake Bailey chilling, and she sees a whole bunch of tweets from K.Michelle. Yeah, I know K.Michelle is infamous for her tweets. She just goes off about whoever she's feeling in that moment. And everybody is in their confessional, and there's this brick wall behind them, literally looking at the tweets of the week and wonder who is she talking about. She called somebody a bimbo. She's activated, the loudest and the most confident. Shut your face. I was like, ooh, K.Michelle, what's going on here? Now, it wasn't about Cynthia, and K.Michelle was discussing what Porsha said about her, because we're going over my surgery, and this this dingbat here busts out and says, you had a miscarriage. Where did that come from? And then again, Porsha, why would you even want to say that when you had a conversation with K.Michelle about knowing she wants to have a child? And she's also going through her own infertility issues. And K.Michelle feels like I have been Kelly'd. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to literally go back and reset what was just said. I had to go home to remember what was said to me. Like, did I get read? Was I offended? Did she offend me? Did she mean to come at me in that way? And, it is not something you just say to a woman. And, Cynthia always got a cake for Porsha. How she's experienced Porsha. Porsha never thinks before she speaks. And she does have these blind moments sometimes. But she knows that the miscarriage comment was innocent. Do I believe that the miscarriage comment was innocent? I do. But I also look at it as Porsha never likes to be a listening ear for somebody. She never likes to fully pay attention to what somebody is actually going through. Like, she really is very selfish in that way. And K.Michelle asked Cynthia, you know what, can I ask you something? She was like, oh Lord, what? No. What's up with Phaedra? Like, all she does is giggle. K.Michelle, please call it out. Like, no, for real. Like, for real. Every time you see Phaedra, she just, well, good God almighty. Like, just making these awkward fucking faces. And it's like, why is she here? What is the purpose of Phaedra being here? Y'all could say comedic relief, but girl, that's only in confessionals. And she never really stands in on what she does and says. She lies. Like, what is her purpose? And Pinky said, it's because she's too busy eating dead people. Where the hell did that come from? Who says that? Now, Pinky only made that comment about Phaedra is because she heard about Phaedra saying that Pinky eats meat. And if Pinky is someone who made a huge company, a huge business off of making vegan meals, she's on the board with PETA. Don't play with my money. Don't play on my time. Trying to act like I eat meat and I own a vegan company. Like, that's fucked up. You don't say that. And as it turns out about who told her, we had a flashback to Shamia's house. They're at the pool. And Shamia goofily says, Phaedra said, you be eating meat. Goofy ass. Like, what the fuck? And that's just that's the thing with Phaedra that I just don't fucking like. Like, she just says things. And K.Michelle said, I don't trust no lawyer that you can't practice the law with. Pinky said, I don't trust no lawyer that eat dead people. Listen, y'all, I don't know. Pinky talks about, I have so much on my plate. I have bankruptcy. I have lawsuits. I want to get my company back. I got my marriage. I got my relationship. And I'm wondering, can I grow with these women? Can I trust these women with my secrets? I want to surround myself with women like me that can understand and support me while I'm going through hard times. Then it flashes back to her talking to K.Michelle about how she did file for bankruptcy, but she hasn't told her husband about it. K.Michelle was like, why haven't you told him? I'm going to tell him. Does it make me a bad wife if I don't tell him? No, it makes you a stubborn one. Because you want to figure it out on your own and not bother him, but that's not going to always work. If you want him to show up and support you, you got to let him in on things that you are afraid of telling him. But Pinky, she wants to figure out things for herself, but then when it's too much, she looks for help, but she doesn't know how to ask for help. And Pinky said it right now. She is tired of being a strong friend, and she wants to be in a space to release all of what she's been dealing with. Cynthia said, "You can lean on me. I'll be your shoulder. I want you to have a space where you say, I don't have it today. I'm not in a good place right now." And they had a good time. They had a good lunch. They prayed over the food. Moving on. Drew. Drew's on a date with Black, okay? Now, recognizing Black versus how he looked in pictures, very different from what I originally thought. Like, he walked in with a leather outfit set, no shirt, gaudy chain, teeth white as snow, like huge chiclet teeth, and a New Orleans accent. I said, wow, I can see toxicity all over him. Now, he bought a bouquet of flowers for her. That was very sweet. He got her gifts for her children. I'm not even mad about her dating. I'm not. She's going through a lot with this divorce. She cannot be stuck in the house all day. Go ahead, Drew. Have your fun. And then he's just trying to figure out what category are they in. You know what I'm saying? You know, are we friends, or can we reach friends with benefits? She said that they have snuggled, they have cuddled, they have held hands, but they have never gone down the yellow brick road. I don't know. Are you trying to keep it locked up? You're not trying to give it up to him that easily, Drew? You want to make him work for it? Okay, I'm not knocking that as well. And she says she really doesn't have a time for a relationship. She has to focus on her children, focus on getting through this divorce. This divorce has been going on for about 3 years now. Who gets divorced for 3 years? A lot of people. It don't make a lot of sense. And I don't mind her in this space. I mean, hell, she is receiving a better treatment than she did from Ralph. Ralph made a whole scene about how she didn't deserve a lobster. She deserved a Lunchable. So hell, receive all the gifts, receive all the praise. I am not mad at it at all. And you know what? I have a question. Like, I know there's still some things rumbling out there about Drew and Ralph. There's been a whole lot of information being, revealed about what they have going on throughout this divorce. What I need to understand is, how is it that it is her fault that her kids are missing out on so much school? If Ralph lives in the basement, then why can't he see that Drew is working and she can't pick up the kids right now, or she can't take them to school? Why can't he get his ass up and make sure his kids go to school on time? Because I don't think that the fault lies on Drew that her kids missed out on so many days of school. I don't. I feel like it's on him too. Ralph is petty and bitter. We already know that. Like, there's just so much that is missing in this whole ordeal that I really want it to be understood. And I don't want this to be all on Drew's fault, because I don't think this is her fault. I really don't. And he's trying to let her know she is not girlfriend material. She's wifey material. He wants to pursue his investment, but she is still tied to somebody, which I get. He's laying it on thick. He's saying all the right words. And she is just keeping it where it's at. They're in a good friendship. We're in a committed, healthy friendship. And Black knows where he stands. You know what I'm saying? But he's going to make sure he goes all out more than the other guys are. Even if she get a new man, he ain't going to feel no way about it. He going to still do what he want to do. I mean, Drew, if you want to give him the cookie, give him the cookie, but make sure it's on your time, not his. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're recognizing his movements, recognizing his tone of conversation. Don't get sucked in, all right? Just keep it light, keep it fun. That's it. Moving on. So Angela and her daughter Amari, they're heading over to the house to look at the property. It's a fixer-upper, but it got potential. I do believe it does. Yes, it's a whole lot of spiders. We can clear that up. And it's very much a starter home. It is $159,000, 3-bed, 2-bath. It looks very, very nice. I wonder, where is it located? Is it on a road? Is it in the forest somewhere? Like, where is it at? So she said this is an emotional purchase. She lost her mom and her properties all within the same year. And now this house is going to be flipped. The house going to close on Monday. Does Charles know about this house? Yes, he does. And he just hasn't seen it. And yes, she's trying to learn from her mistakes that the other properties didn't flip. So we're going to start off with one house and see how that works out. I do think this is a good time for her to do this. I think this could be a good investment. She won't receive the same amount of money she put in, and it won't reach the amount of money she lost. But if she keeps on working slowly but surely, she could regain that momentum again. And Amari is just being negative, okay? She is just telling her, this is not what I'm used to you doing your renovations for the houses you find. I don't think that Charles is going to like this house. He ain't going to want nothing to do with this house. And, Angela hasn't felt supported by Charles as well. He really wasn't here for her doing this anyway. And she still did it. But he's not even showing her support. The way he shows it probably is very, very different than what we're seeing. But she still isn't seeing that, push. She's not receiving it. And why do you want this house? Do you want it to be something you want to pursue, or do you want to really find a win on it? And Angela was like, damn it, Amari, I want this to be something I pursue. Okay, I want this to be a win. Okay, I want something to celebrate. I want to look forward to it. Of all the losses I've had, I want to at least have something to look forward to and be happy about. And I understand, Angela. I really, really do. Now, I feel like she really has no other option but to keep going forward. I don't know if she wants to go back. Maybe she's looking for some closure. Oh, my heart goes out to Angela. So moving on from there, we got Shamia. Shamia's headed towards her attorney's office to discuss her rum company deal. And I'm happy she is seeking an attorney that can help her go through the process and ask the right questions. So when it comes to the rum company, she thought it'd be really, really cool to have a mold of her butt. Okay, like an actual huge butt jug, or like a silhouette leading towards the butt. Because in my mind, I'm imagining like an ombre glass bottle with your body, because your body is tea. And I do think it'll be a good selling point. And maybe a designer signature glass with it. And she also want to create a peach flavor to it. I thought it was called peach bum, but it's called rum bum. And it's supposed to also increase your libido. And this is a liquor that can release those inhibitions. That sounds like a very fun flavor, a fun time. And, well, this is where her bubble gets bursted. Grenada doesn't have any naturally grown peaches, so she can't add that peach flavor to it. She's going to have to import peaches to Grenada in order for it to have that peach flavoring. That's going to cost a lot of money. And I don't know, maybe you don't need to add flavoring to it. Maybe you can just have a signature drink that has peach in it. That's what you should probably do. Have them bring you the bottle of the rum, go through cocktails you can create with it, add the flavoring, add the sweetness to it, and then say, this is what I want. That's how you could do it. Then we talk about the price of the bottle and how she's putting in her own money in it, and looking at how much she's going to put in. It might not be a good idea right now. Now she's going back to thinking that maybe Gerard was right, that I shouldn't have done this. This is not the right move right now. She is seriously doubting herself. But, but also, Shamia, when it comes down to you talking about the mold of your butt, why did you turn around and twerk while the people was on the opposite side of the camera and in front of your attorney? Like, why would you do that? That's tacky. We don't twerk, ma'am. You could have just let it be that. We can see your body. You didn't have to showcase. You can twerk this ass. Like, no. That's where I feel like sometimes Shamia does this corny, goofy shit to counteract her emotions. Like, she's very nervous, very anxious, and she can't do nothing else but be goofy. But moving on. We got Pinky and Derek. They're having a date night. And, of course, they're both successful. They have children. It's hard to find time for them to date. They reflect on if they did anything differently, would he marry her again? He said yes, he would. Now, she said they were married for about a year before they called it quits. They were driving to the courthouse to get a divorce. And when she got out the car, he said, you better not get out that car. They laughed, they prayed, they went home. Damn. Only a year in and y'all was already calling it quits? Like, what the fuck? So she said people have made comments about how they rushed into being in a relationship. She said they got married in 2023, and that was marking 3 years of them being together. So in total, you have been married for 3 years together, 5. Here I am thinking that you said that you were married for 5, but come to find out you've been married for 3. And you've only been married for going on for 2.5 years. Like, I thought I heard something completely different. But, I mean, if you think about it, though, Pinky, you were 3 months in a relationship with him and you got pregnant. And then you also was pregnant 2 more times when you guys end up getting married. Like, that's just a lot. It's a lot. So now she talked about receiving messages about 3 pending lawsuits. That's a lot to deal with. Derek wants to say, how can I support you? How can I be there financially and spiritually with knowing what you're going through, but you don't let me know until the last minute, so I can't be there for you while you're dealing through this. And I want to be there to help you out. So how can I do that? I want to be your main support system. I want you to lean on me. And as far as him saying that, she knows she wouldn't mind his help. but what she's going through is not his problem. And she hasn't told him about filing for bankruptcy, but we know she's going to tell him in the next week's episode, and she's not ready to do it right now. But I just feel like, Pinky, you can't like hide this from him. You got to let him know what's going on. And I don't know if she doesn't want to deal with how he's going to come at her for how she's navigating through it, because again, I can't get over him saying he had to humble her as if she didn't come out on top of having this business done for herself. She navigated the success of this business. What did you do? You've already had your success. So why are you trying to teach her and school her on what you think she don't know? So I have no idea if Derek is not as vulnerable, is not as soft when she wants help from him without him being so hard on her. Is that what it is? Because again, I recognize that she doesn't want to add him into this. I recognize she doesn't want to tell him about this because she wants to figure it out on her own. But if the roles were reversed and your husband's going through problems like what you're going through, you would want him to bring you in. You'll want him to talk to you about it so you can be there and support him, figure it out. And men have that pride thing where they don't want no help. You're doing the exact same thing. But is there a real reason why you don't want him to know? You want to figure it out without hearing his voice or something? Let me understand that. And they end things off with, "You're my best friend. I love you and I love that you're here." Okay, so we're moving on. Okay, so now we get to the last scene. It is with Porsha and K.Michelle. She's meeting up with her because she wants to discuss her comment and how it made her feel. And, Porsha was like, "I haven't heard from you." "Yeah, because I was mad at you. When you invited me out to get our nails done last Saturday, I was telling you about my incident and you bust out and said a miscarriage." "Why would you say that?" Porsha wanted to act like she didn't know what was going on with her. K.Michelle said, "But we had a conversation. You knew I was talking about my surgeries." "Yeah, but I didn't know it was that kind of surgery. Like, I didn't know it was about your butt." K.Michelle's looking at her like, "Girl, you gonna sit here and play fucking dumb? Like, we didn't have a conversation about my BBL surgeries and you know what I've been dealing with?" Like, everybody that's on this planet have known what K.Michelle's been dealing with her trying to remove all of those illegal substances out of her body. Like, she had her own spin-off reality show discussing it. Like, how it's just one of those moments where Porsha, she doesn't really show empathy and support when someone's going through something. She doesn't really pay attention to that. She'll jump in when it's something that can attach it to her. If it's something that she can come in and give off her opinions about it because it happened to her, that's when she's going to care. But if she has never dealt with what you're talking about, she's not going to listen and nor give a fuck about it. So when she got the update for Shamia, that's when she had heard what was going on. But when you even say miscarriage, that's when Porsha felt like, oh, that's what you were dealing with, because she has had several miscarriages. She has had fertility issues. She's woken up in a pool of blood by herself, and that's where she was coming from with that. So she was imagining that was happening to K.Michelle when she was discussing how she had an open wound that just spilled out. And K.Michelle was like, "I'm thinking I'm coming to a safe space to express that." She said, "It is a safe space. I wanted you to express that. I wanted you to tell me what you were dealing with. And I'm very sorry that I said something like that to you that made you feel like I was being insensitive. That's not what I was trying to do." And it was shocking to see Porsha instantly apologized for what she said. And she did not mean for it to come out that way. She would never want to say that to somebody. She would never want to be insensitive about what somebody is dealing with. You sure? It sounds to me, Porsha, whenever someone talks about what you might have done, you take it to a whole nother level to punish them later for even mentioning it. But you know what? In this case, we're not going to do that. And I didn't know that Porsha dealt with multiple miscarriages. I did not know she had fertility issues as well. I didn't know that at all. And K.Michelle said in her confessional, I don't care if you dealt with the same issues as me. Don't ever think you can come at me and say that about me. K.Michelle said, I don't care if you have dealt with the same issues as me, you have been through the same field as me, you dealt with the same problems as me. I am not going to blurt out something like that and not expect for someone to take offense to it. And as far as how you know what my journey has been like, I have spoken to you about how I want to have more children. And K.Michelle also said, listen, once you said that to me, you made me feel a certain way. And you know, in the South, folks say bitch, I say bimbo. And I was talking about you on Twitter. So, ding, 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 we have discovered the mystery. She was talking about Porsha being the bimbo, okay? And Porsha wants to reel everything back in, let them start fresh, and maybe with the way that Porsha came at Kelly, that maybe K.Michelle was weary of how Porsha was going to do that to her. And Porsha was, no, K.Michelle was like, listen, I don't want to get into nobody's business. And if I got something to say, I will say it. I will stand in it, but I'm a reform crash out. So right now, I'm going to sit back, observe, and I'm going to say how I think it is. Porsha want to say she's a reform crash out too. I don't know about reformed. Excuse me. But she commends her for discussing how she feels and how she wants to move forward. And let's be on some real type sisterhood shit. So you let me know how you feel. I saw how it made you feel. I'm apologizing for how it made you feel. And I want us to move forward. They handled it, right? They're going to move forward. But Porsha wants K.Michelle to not go back and tell the other ladies about how something that made her feel away. She wanted her to come straight to her. But K.Michelle said, oh, no. I went back and told the ladies how you made me feel. I definitely said some things. I was pissed as fuck at you. But Porsha, who are you to try to like forbid people to not go back and talk about what you did that made them feel away when you're going to do the same thing? Like, we can't do that, y'all. You are a part of a group that word is going to get back any kind of way. And when it comes to a big confrontation, we're going to discuss it and we're going to move accordingly. You can't forbid people to not go back and tell each other how you said something that made them feel some type of way. Like, we're not going to do that. And when she told Porsha about the comment that she made, she literally had to go back home and wonder what just happened. Like, did I just get offended? Am I supposed to be offended? Did she say something that was supposed to hurt me? What actually took place? So that's how it like ended in that aspect. And, you know, K.Michelle in her confessional said normally she won't believe what comes out of Porsha's mouth, right? She said it might be straight BS. But you know what? I'm going to give her every bit of doubt I can find in the corner and move accordingly. Because usually if you are coming at me, it's one strike, you're out. But I'm going to give chances right now. So even though Porsha did apologize, she did not mean it. And K.Michelle apologized for calling her a bimbo. But she can't promise she won't say it again. I doubt she... I doubt... Oh, she'll say it again. She will. But this was nice for them to move forward. But I hope that K.Michelle is still keeping an eye out on how Porsha's going to move. And I don't think that Porsha wants an issue with K.Michelle. But K.Michelle is going to automatically be on guard with the shenanigans that comes on being on reality TV. She came from Love and Hip Hop. You know what I'm saying? That thing about her where she wants to constantly overcorrect and overdo how she used to come across. Like, she wants to be all refined and poised and all that kind of stuff. Like, she's not on that time anymore. But I do feel like K.Michelle be on that time subtly. You just got to find it. You just got to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she thinks she's not doing the same thing she used to do when she was on Love and Hip Hop. We can see that. And how you're being mindful of how the cameras are. And how you're trying to, like, do this whole Southern Belle energy that, I don't know, I'm going to read right through it. I don't know. It's just certain things that K.Michelle does sometimes where I feel like you're trying to overcompensate how you used to look on camera. And you're not trying to be that person you used to be. Even though we've seen every part of you on other different types of reality TV. But you know what? Hey, that's it. Love K.Michelle for the show. Happy she's on the show. But y'all, that's all I have. Please stay tuned for my next video. And I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.